Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. They thought we were hiding in fear. Until our voice shook the universe. The invasion. Grand Marshal Thax stood motionless on the command deck of the inevitable conquest, his 6 eyes focused on the holographic display of the small blue planet. His exoskeleton gleamed under the ship's ambient lighting as his secondary arms tapped a rhythmic pattern against his ceremonial armor. A habit. Another primitive world for the collection, he stated, his mandibles clicking with something akin to boredom. Sensor analysis. Science Director Vex approached, her translucent wings folded tightly against her back. Unusual readings, Grand Marshal. This species, these humans, have progressed from basic tool use to rudimentary space travel in mere millennia. Their technological advancement curve is unprecedented. Thax dismissed the concern with a flick of his primary right hand. The Killerian Empire has subjugated over 300 species across 7 galactic arms. Technological potential means nothing without proper evolution time. Prepare the standard first contact protocol, followed immediately by the integration fleet. In the 50,000 years of Solarian expansion, the pattern had never varied: arrive, demonstrate superior power, offer subjugation as the only alternative to extinction. No species has successfully resisted beyond a single planetary rotation. On Earth, United Nations Secretary-General Maya Chen stood at the podium addressing an emergency assembly. The massive alien vessel had appeared in orbit 12 hours earlier, broadcasting a simple message in perfectly translated language: prepare to receive emissaries of the Solarian Empire. We face an unprecedented situation, Chen announced, her voice steady despite the weight of her words. Our astronomical and defense agencies confirm the vessel is approximately 15 kilometers in length, with energy signatures that suggest weapon capabilities far beyond our own. First contact protocols have been established. We will meet these visitors with diplomacy, dignity, and caution. Dr. James Harper, Earth's foremost linguist, leaned toward General Diana Rodriguez and whispered, "They learned our languages from our broadcasts, didn't they?" Rodriguez nodded grimly. "Which means they've been watching us for some time, not a great sign." The Axelarian shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere with theatrical precision, landing at the designated site on the plains outside Geneva. A delegation of Earth's leaders waited, broadcasting the historic moment to billions of anxious viewers worldwide. The craft's exterior was flawless, a seamless obsidian shell that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. A seam appeared, widening into a ramp, and 3 tall figures emerged. The central figure stood nearly 3 m tall, insectoid in appearance with multiple eyes and 4 arms. Its exoskeleton shimmered with an iridescent quality that shifted colors with movement. When it spoke, its mandibles produced a series of clicks that were simultaneously translated by a device at its thorax. "I am Emissary Krell of the Eternal Axelarian Empire. Your world has been selected for integration into our dominion. Resistance is historically futile, but your species may choose the method of your subjugation, willing vassalage or forced compliance." Secretary-General Chen stepped forward. "Emissary Krell, we welcome you to Earth and hope to establish peaceful relations between our peoples. However, I must clarify that Earth is not seeking integration into any empire. We are open to alliance, trade, and cultural exchange." The alien's multiple eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture of confusion that humans could not yet interpret. "You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. The Empire requires your resources, genetic diversity, and labor. Your species will serve or face extinction. You have 1 planetary rotation to submit your surrender." The aliens returned to their craft without ceremony, leaving the human delegation in stunned silence. Within hours, Earth's military powers convened an emergency war council. General Rodriguez addressed the assembly, her expression grim. "Their technology appears to be centuries beyond ours. Conventional weapons may be ineffective against their defenses, but we've identified potential weaknesses in their approach." She gestured to Dr. Sanjay Patel, who stepped forward with a tablet. "They're overconfident," Patel explained. "Their scans of our planet were superficial. They've missed significant military installations buried deep underground and our most advanced prototype weapons. More importantly, they don't understand human nature. Our history of asymmetric warfare against superior forces around the world shows that humanity mobilizes with unprecedented unity. Ancient enemies shared military secrets, borders became meaningless, and civilian industries converted to defense production with astonishing speed. When the deadline passed without Earth's surrender, the Axelerian response was immediate. 7 warships descended into the atmosphere, positioning themselves above major cities. In orbit, Grand Marshal Fax watched with detached interest as the standard subjugation protocol commenced: target their military installations first, then government centers. The Alarian ships fired their first volley, beams of concentrated energy directed at military bases and government buildings. But something unexpected happened: the beams scattered and diffused before reaching their targets. On Earth, Dr. Elisa Wong monitored the effectiveness of her hastily deployed countermeasure. "The atmospheric dispersal system is working," she shouted to her team. "The particulate shield is deflecting their energy weapons." The particulate shield, a network of specially designed, microscopic reflective particles released into the upper atmosphere, wasn't a perfect defense, but it reduced the aliens' weapon effectiveness by 70%. Fax received the report with disbelief. Impossible. Their technological level should not permit such defenses. Nevertheless, his tactical officer replied, "Our energy weapons are not achieving full penetration." Switching to kinetic bombardment, the Axelarian ships launched what humans would recognize as rail gun projectiles, hypervelocity slugs designed to impact with devastating force. But Earth had prepared for this too. General Rodriguez watched from the underground command center as the automated defense network engaged. Thousands of missile interceptors launched simultaneously, guided by a distributed AI system that had been a classified project for decades. "They're adapting faster than anticipated," Emissary Krell reported. "Their missile defense systems are crude but effective due to sheer numbers." Fax's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation. "Deploy ground forces. We will take this planet the old-fashioned way." 500 drop ships descended through Earth's atmosphere, each carrying 50 elite Karen warriors in battle armor. They landed in coordinated patterns around major population centers, expecting minimal resistance from primitive weapons. What they encountered instead was a prepared population employing improvised but effective tactics. In New York, construction workers had converted excavation equipment into mechanized armor. In Lagos, engineers had repurposed industrial lasers into anti-armor weapons. In Shanghai, chemical plants had produced sticky foam that immobilized Carillion exoskeletons on contact. Captain Maya Desai led a guerrilla force through the sewers of Mumbai, emerging behind Karen lines. "Remember the plan," she told her team. "We can't match them in direct combat, hit and run, disable their communications, use the city against them." The Carillions, accustomed to fighting conventional wars against conventional opponents, found themselves frustrated by human unpredictability. Their rigid command structure couldn't adapt quickly enough to the thousands of independent resistance groups using different tactics in orbit. Fax received increasingly desperate reports from ground commanders. "This is unprecedented," he told his war council. "No species has ever resisted so effectively with such primitive technology." Science Director Vex spoke cautiously. "Their adaptability exceeds anything in our records, their improvising weapons and tactics are faster than our forces can respond. I recommend a strategic withdrawal to reassess." Vex's exoskeleton darkened with anger. "The Empire does not retreat from primitives. The Empire also does not waste resources unnecessarily," she countered. "We've already lost 12% of our ground forces and 3 ships to their counterattacks, and their resourcefulness suggests they may have other surprises waiting." Reluctantly, Thax ordered a temporary withdrawal. The Axelarian forces pulled back to their ships and returned to the main fleet. On Earth, there was no celebration, only grim determination and frantic preparation. Humanity had survived the first wave, but everyone understood this was merely the beginning. The real test would come when the Empire returned in force. Dr. Harper studied the translated Solarian communications they had intercepted during the battle. "They're coming back," he told the Emergency Council, "and next time, they won't underestimate us." General Rodriguez nodded. "Then we better make sure we have some new surprises waiting for them." The counterattack. Supreme Overlord Zenith of the Carian Empire was not accustomed to failure. His massive form dominated the throne room aboard the Imperial flagship Eternal Dominance, dwarfing even the elite royal guards flanking him. His exoskeleton, hardened by age and genetic modification, gleamed with embedded precious metals signifying his countless victories. "You lost ships to primitives," he stated. His voice was unnaturally calm, which made Grand Marshal Fax even more uncomfortable. "They employed unconventional tactics," Supreme Overlord Fax explained, keeping his posture submissive. "Their technological level is modest, but their adaptability is unprecedented. They converted civilian infrastructure to military applications within hours." "Enough excuses," Zenith interrupted. "The Empire has never failed to subjugate a target world. We will not start now. Deploy the eradication fleet." "Supreme Overlord, with respect, a full eradication response seems excessive. Are you questioning my judgment, Grand Marshal?" Zenith's secondary arms reached for the ceremonial execution blade at his side. Vex lowered all 6 eyes in submission. "No, Supreme Overlord. I will personally oversee the operation." On Earth, 60 days of frantic preparation had transformed the planet. Major cities had been partially evacuated, with essential industries moved underground. Global defense systems, cobbled together from both existing military technology and reverse-engineered Solarian components from damaged drop ships, formed an integrated network spanning the planet. Dr. Elisa Wong addressed the United Earth Defense Council from her laboratory in Singapore. "The good news is we've made significant progress understanding their shield technology and communication systems. The bad news is our long-range sensors have detected a massive fleet approaching at least 20 times larger than the first wave." General Rodriguez studied the projections. "Time to arrival?" "Approximately 72 hours, Wong replied, "and they're bringing what appears to be a planet-killer weapon, something that could crack Earth's crust." Secretary General Chen turned to Admiral Kenji Takahashi, commander of Earth's hastily assembled Space Defense Force. "What are our options?" "We've converted every available satellite and space station into weapons platforms," Takahashi explained. "We've launched 200 improvised spacecraft armed with nuclear warheads and the phase disruptors Dr. Wong developed. But realistically, we're severely outgunned." "Then we need something they won't expect," said Dr. Patel, who had been quiet until now. "During the first attack, I was analyzing their communications. They have a highly centralized command structure, almost like a hive mind but hierarchical. If we could disrupt that, the plan that emerged was desperate but uniquely human, a combination of deception, audacity, and calculated sacrifice." As the Solarian eradication fleet approached Earth orbit, they encountered minimal resistance. A few outdated missiles were easily intercepted, and the scattered defensive satellites were quickly neutralized. On the command deck of the Eternal Dominance, Fax felt uneasy. "This is too easy," he muttered to Science Director Vex. "Where is their resistance? Perhaps they've accepted their fate." Vex suggested, though she sounded unconvinced, "Deploy the ground forces," Fax ordered, "and prepare the planet killer for atmospheric insertion." 5,000 drop ships descended toward Earth's surface, followed by the massive planet killer, a cylindrical vessel nearly 20 kilometers long, designed to drill into a planet's crust and detonate a sequence of antimatter charges. On Earth's surface, things appeared eerily calm. Cities stood empty, military bases seemed abandoned. The drop ships landed without opposition, deploying their troops into what seemed like a defeated world. In Geneva, a small delegation of humans waited in the open, holding a white flag. When the Axelarian commander approached, Secretary General Chen stepped forward. "We surrender," she said simply. "Earth accepts integration into the Axelarian Empire. We request only that a portion of our population be spared to serve the Empire." The Axelarian commander's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. "Wise decision. Your cooperation will be noted in the Imperial records." As surrender ceremonies began around the world, Solarian forces reported an unexpected phenomenon: their battlefield communications were experiencing random disruptions, brief but annoying static in orbit. Fax received troubling reports. "Our ground forces are reporting scattered communication failures." His communications officer reported a primitive attempt at electronic warfare. Fax dismissed, proceed with the integration protocol. He was interrupted by an urgent alert: unidentified vessels approaching from behind the moon. "Impossible," Fax snapped. "Our scans showed no significant space capabilities." But the sensors didn't lie. 300 vessels emerged from lunar orbit, crewed by Axelarian standards but moving with surprising speed and coordination. More concerning, they weren't headed for the Axelarian fleet but were spreading out to surround the planet in a loose defensive sphere. "A futile last stand," Fax observed. "Target and destroy them." As the Solarian fleet turned their weapons toward Earth's defenders, something remarkable happened. From the surface of the planet, thousands of energy signatures suddenly appeared, power sources that had been completely shielded until this moment. On Earth, Operation Trojan reached its culmination. For 2 months, humanity had been building not conventional weapons but specialized transmitters designed to interface with Solarian communications frequencies. The surrender had been aroused to get Solarian forces to spread across the planet's surface within range of these transmitters. Dr. Patel activated the global network with a single command. The transmitter simultaneously broadcast a carefully designed signal, a fractal communication virus that propagated through the hierarchical Solarian command structure, creating a cascading failure in their battle coordination systems. Aboard the Eternal Dominance, chaos erupted as communication systems failed catastrophically. Battle displays showed conflicting information, automated defense systems registered false threats, and coordination between ships collapsed. "What is happening?" Vex demanded as the command deck dissolved into confusion. "They've somehow infiltrated our command protocols," Vex replied, her normally calm voice edged with panic. "The system is trying to purge the corruption, but it's spreading faster than the safeguards can contain it." In this moment of Solarian confusion, Earth's true defense unveiled itself. The surrendering humans activated hidden weapons, many incorporating reverse-engineered Carillion technology. The empty cities turned out to be elaborate traps, with automated defense systems emerging from concealed bunkers. The human spacecraft, meanwhile, executed their primary mission. Rather than engaging the vastly superior Axelarian vessels directly, they targeted the planet killer, which was now vulnerable due to compromised defenses. Admiral Takahashi watched from his command ship as the coordinated strike unfolded. "All units, execute attack pattern Omega. Remember, we only get one shot at this." 200 nuclear warheads detonated simultaneously against the planet killer, creating precisely synchronized shock waves. The physical damage was significant but not fatal to such a massive vessel. However, it created the perfect conditions for the second phase, the deployment of Dr. Wong's phase disruptors. These devices, based on principles derived from studying Solarian shield technology, created a localized subspace distortion that briefly rendered matter unstable at the quantum level. When the disruptors activated inside the damage zones created by the nuclear strikes, they triggered a chain reaction throughout the planet killer's antimatter containment systems. The resulting explosion was visible from Earth's surface, a new star briefly appearing in the daytime sky. In orbit, the Solarian fleet reeled from both the destruction of their superweapon and the continuing effects of the communication virus. Ships fired on phantom targets, or worse, on each other as identification systems failed. Fax made a desperate decision: all ships, full retreat. Withdraw from this system immediately. As the Axelarian ships struggled to coordinate their retreat, a new complication emerged. A wormhole opened at the edge of the solar system, and through it came a flotilla of unknown vessels. More human reinforcements. Fax wondered aloud. No, Vex replied, studying the readings. These are Arcanian vessels. The Arcanians, an ancient spacefaring species that had maintained neutrality in the face of Solarian expansion for millennia, their sleek crystalline ships formed a blockade between the retreating Coranian fleet and their jump point. A communication channel opened, and an Arcanian elder appeared on the main display. Its translucent, almost fluid body pulsed with internal light as it spoke. The Arcanian collective has observed these events with interest. The elder stated, for 10,000 years we have watched the Axelarian Empire consume world after world, believing intervention would only bring greater bloodshed. Today, we witnessed something unprecedented, a species capable of defeating your forces through ingenuity rather than superior firepower. Fax bristled. This is an imperial matter. The Arcanian collective has no authority here. We are not claiming authority. We intervene to prevent the Axelarians from returning with an even larger force. Our species sees potential in yours, not just for survival but for bringing a new perspective to galactic civilization. In the aftermath, humanity found itself in an unprecedented position, recognized as a significant power despite its limited technological development, protected by the Arcanians while it developed its own spacefaring capabilities and feared by the Axelarian Empire. General Rodriguez stood with Dr. Wong on the observation deck of the newly constructed orbital defense station, watching Arcanian engineers help install advanced shield technology. Do you think they'll come back? Wong asked. Rodriguez smiled grimly. Eventually, it'll be ready. I still can't believe we actually won, Wong said, shaking her head in wonder. We didn't just win a battle. Rodriguez replied, we changed the galaxy's perception of humanity. The Solarians are spreading the word, humans are too much trouble to conquer, the first interstellar war with humans, Wong mused. And already they're warning others to.